I'm Stephen Gashler, and I'm going to be performing an African-American folktale called Mr. Walker's Liver. Johnny didn't just love candy. He was a candy connoisseur. His fine-tuned tongue could dissect the wonderful, intricate flavors of caramel and nougat, citric acid and bisodium carbonate. He thought that corn syrup was the nectar of the gods, the alma mater of all things sweet and good. Which is why his mother said to him, "Johnny, I need you to go to the grocery store, but I don't want you to buy any candy. Not like last time when you wasted my money. I need you to pick up a liver for dinner tonight because you know how much your papa loves liver and onions. Got that? No candy." "All right, Mama. No candy, one liver. No problem." So Johnny took the money and was right out the door, skipping along the way. He passed his school, he passed his friend Jake's house, he passed the graveyard where somebody was holding a funeral. Oh, but he didn't have time to think about that. He needed to think about the grocery store and all the candy he wasn't going to buy. He didn't have a hard time thinking about not buying hard candy, because he didn't have the patience for that kind of thing anyway. But he had a really hard time thinking about not buying any gummy candies. None. At all. Not even one. Well, maybe just one, he thought. So when he got to the grocery store, he went right into the candy aisle. He looked at those candies and he looked for a gummy worm, but unfortunately this place didn't have any bulk section. So he bought just one package of gummy worms. Well, then he started to feel guilty. "Oh, I can't just eat a package of gummy worms. My mama taught me better than that. I'm a growing young boy. I need some grains." So he grabbed some corn nuts. He looked at his food and thought, "Oh, well, this isn't right. I need some protein." So he got a Snickers bar. "Oh, no, this isn't right. I've got sweet and salty, but I don't got no sour." So he reached for some lemon heads. By the time he got to the checkout stand, his arm was full of candy. He handed it over, he paid for it, and he had 13 cents change. Well, he got that candy and went right out the grocery store. He started stuffing his face and smacking away, and it tasted so good and life was so wonderful until he reached the graveyard. And when he was there, he thought, "Oh yeah, I was supposed to buy a liver." Then he started fearing for his life. Mama would be so mad. If Papa found out, he would be dead meat. And speaking of dead meat, he noticed that the funeral had just ended over at the graveyard. People were getting in their cars and driving away. "Oh, that's right," Bobby thought. "Old Mr. Walker in the neighborhood just died." Well, he got to thinking, his mind being on the subject of death. You know, Mr. Walker, he won't be needing his house anymore. He won't be needing his car anymore. And he won't be needing his body anymore. That's when Johnny got a thought. You can probably guess what he was thinking. He almost envied Mr. Walker lying there underground without parents to worry about. But these were war conditions for Johnny, and he did what he had to do. He ran right home. He hid behind a tree and waited until his mama was no longer in the kitchen. Then he tiptoed around. He opened the door, crept into the kitchen. He got a big butcher knife. He opened a drawer. He ripped out some butcher paper. Then he tiptoed right out of the kitchen. His next stop was his papa's shed. He ran right in there. He opened the door, and he got a shovel. Then it was back to the graveyard where he started digging and digging and digging. Whew, it was hard work, but it wasn't that bad. It was only 6 feet deep and the soil was still fresh. Pretty soon, by the time the first stars started coming up and the crickets were chirping, he had uncovered Mr. Walker's coffin. He lifted the lid, and then he did his dirty work. Before too long, he was done. He closed the coffin, he climbed out and started to clean up. It didn't take as long as digging the pit. By the time he was done, all the stars were out. He was mighty sweaty. Well, he had to get home, so he ran as fast as he could and right through the front door where his mama was tapping her foot, her arms folded. "Just where have you been?" "Well, I got the liver." As soon as Mama saw the liver, that frown faded right away. She looked at the liver, and she said, "Whoa, Johnny, isn't that the best-looking liver I've ever seen? Wow!" She forgot all about how mad she was. She went right into the kitchen and started chopping away and frying, and soon Papa was home, and they were eating dinner. Oh, Johnny. This liver's amazing. You sure know how to pick out a liver, Johnny. How come you're not eating?" "Well, Johnny was rubbing his tummy. I'm not feeling so well." And that was the truth. First, his body had to make sense of 2 pounds of candy. Second, let's just say Johnny was suffering from something we'll call mental indigestion. Mama said, "Well, Johnny, you don't look too well. Why don't you go on up to bed?" "Okay." Johnny didn't have to be told twice. He went up all 13 steps to his bedroom, opened the door, and plopped on the bed. He curled into a ball and tried to forget all about Mr. Walker. But the more he tried to forget, the more the stony cold face of Mr. Walker stayed in his mind. Hours went by. His parents had long since gone to bed, but he couldn't sleep. The only sound he heard was the wind. It was extra loud, howling away. The more Johnny listened, he thought he heard his name. Johnny. Johnny. It sounded so real, he started talking to it. "Who's there?" "Johnny. It's Mr. Walker." "Mr. Walker, what do you want?" "I want my liver back." "Oh, I don't got your liver no more, Mr. Walker." "Johnny, I'm at your gate." Johnny heard a sound. He heard metal creaking open. He looked out the front window and saw the gate swinging in the wind, but no one was there. "Johnny, I'm at your door." Johnny heard another sound. The front door had opened, but there were no footsteps. Johnny was so scared he ran back to his bed and he hid beneath a blanket. "Johnny, I'm at your stairs." "Please, Mr. Walker, you gotta believe me. I don't got your liver no more." "Johnny, I'm on the first step." "Johnny, I'm on the third step." "Johnny, I'm on the 5th step." "Johnny, I'm on the 7th step." "Please, Mr. Walker, I'm telling you the truth. You gotta believe me." "Johnny, I'm on the 9th step." "Johnny, I'm on the 11th step." "Johnny, I'm on the 13th step." "Johnny, I'm at your door." Johnny looked at his door. It creaked wide open, but there was nobody there. "Johnny, I'm in your room." "Johnny, I'm at your bed." "Johnny,